Welcome, Peter. Good afternoon. Very pleased to be here with you. And let me let the audience know that we're doing a leadership series. I am James Tastard, Executive Coach and CEO of High Performance Network, and I have the pleasure of being with Peter Horwing, CEO of Chart Learning Solutions. And we've spent the day, yesterday and today, talking about the upcoming learning programs as well as the ongoing learning development that is taking place from Chart Learning Solutions, and High Performance Network is a gold partner with Chart Learning Solutions. So in this series, we're going to explore your leadership experiences, and we will look at how you've developed as a leader in industry, but we'll also talk about your current thinking as CEO of a global learning development platform. Okay. So Peter, if I could ask you to share with the audience a little history of your career and your leadership roles that you've had. I know you've had a varied career in industry.
Well, first of all, I would like to welcome you to Sweden.
Thank you.
Because it is special to have you here from Houston, and you're most welcome. I really appreciate that. Well, my background, that started as a young guy in the sailing, and I was actually competing on the highest level around the world. And then I went into as a national coach in sailing in Sweden. And I think that the sport has a lot with it when it comes to develop people, both in terms of targets, objectives, training, and so on. So after my university studies in Sweden, I put up an objective to become a CEO already by 30. And when I was 29, the CEO of IBM at that time, Sweden, he called me and said, "Well, Peter, are you interested? We have a managing director job for you in southern Sweden, and it's one of the IBM partners." So I called my wife, "Are you happy to join me on this?" And so that was my career. I was 29 years old when I started off that. And that was a stock-listed company. And I've been 25 years in the executive management in Swedish stock-listed companies, software companies, mainly technology. I've had the fortune to work more or less all around the world, being chairman in 15 countries in all parts of the world, including US for many years. That was in New Orleans. It's a great place in the South too. So that's a little bit my background. So I've had the fortune to work with people, not at least cultures all over the world. So yeah, that's a shorty.
Thank you very much. And so I'd like to start off with, a leader is formed through career experiences, both as a team member and then as they have their first leadership role. Can you share with us a moment in your career that you felt was a foundational leadership learning opportunity that you still value today?
Well, there are a lot of these memories, but in essence, in order to make employees successful, and then of course being successful as a leader yourself, you will have to both give them accountability on what they are doing and also make sure they take accountability of what they are doing. That means that over and over I delegate a lot, but with agreed clear objectives, and then it's fine, they keep asking if they would need any support. But I believe a lot in the individual's own development and being in charge of what they're doing. But the critical moment on all this is the follow-up. If you miss the follow-up, you miss the accountability, and you won't get the results. So that's the whole clue in any leadership or successful leadership as such.
That's a great insight. I too have had leadership experiences where follow-up or lack of follow-up makes the difference of success and failure.
Indeed, yes.
And so thinking about that as leaders and as we develop leaders going forward, what kind of follow-up do you recommend? I know there's no one silver bullet, but are there some techniques or practices that you can share with us?
Well, they are both formal and informal ways. If we start off with the formal, that is of course to have continuous reports in terms of, it could be weekly reports or monthly reports, but also if you have management meeting or sales meetings, etc., make sure you always send out the protocols, and a few days in advance make sure people know this is what is to be reported of the meeting,
right.
so people are prepared, because we don't want to run meetings in long time. They should be short and effective. So that's what you can do personally as a leader. But I guess in the end, the informal leadership is even more important. You make sure you actually care about them, care about the families, care about them being successful. So I think that is very important, and that should just be part of your own life.
Yeah. Checking in, follow-ups are very important, and I think you're bringing a very key element. And when you're a leader, you have a team, and the team could be right in front of you, or it could be in a virtual environment where you've got somebody in London, somebody in Houston, somebody in New York, Copenhagen, wherever. And you really need to get to know these individuals who are delivering your product or service or business results very well.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the things that you think a leader should know minimum? Just doesn't have to be comprehensive, but some key things about your team members, even if they're not close to you, as a little short checklist.
Well, now you're nearly making a jump into short learning solutions, because we have defined, based on experience, 12 core competencies, which each and every leader should have. Some have it with them from childhood, and many don't.
Right.
And you can just mention a few of them. Project management is a key one, because all companies as of today are more or less run as projects. Project, the hierarchical organization is going away. Time management is a very critical thing. You have to, and it's not only business, but it's personal time management also, to get it all together. We call something called responsible initiatives. And that's both towards yourself, but also towards others. You keep your promises, you deliver on time. You stand up for you and yourself. And then, of course, a very important piece as of today, that's ethics. Keeping the standard, the ethics, because you as a leader, you have to be in front of everyone. You always have to set the highest bars, because that's what people are going to look for. So you have to be the role model. And then there are other pieces. You need to be able to coach people, follow up, mentor people, and give them advices for their careers and so on. So there are 12 core competencies which we have identified, which we believe are critical for any leader's future success and existing success.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And those 12 competencies, I think they're well thought through, and they're well developed in the training modules. And what maybe we can go into a really emerging area of learning, and that's coaching. And one of the things that I am most impressed with is that the Chart Learning Solutions brings coaching into the actual LMS, the Learning Management System. And that is something that I was searching for from quite some time ago. And so when we first met last fall, that was one of my key questions. How do you deal with coaching? I know you have blended learning, but what does it really mean to Chart? So if you could share with the audience and myself, how do you see coaching as holding learners and leaders and talents who are in this learning journey accountable?
Yeah. No, so you're touch basing on one of the clues for learning, and what we call also getting sustainable results through a learning journey. So it's today proven in corporations, in universities all over the world, that you need to combine the two assets, online learning and what we call live coaching. That may be virtual coaching or physical coaching. It does not really matter. But because just doing classroom today, that's too expensive, and you don't have geographic spreads, and you take people out. And just doing e-learning, it really, sad to say, but it goes in here and it goes out the other way, and it's so easy you start to pick up your mobile at the same time, and you don't really learn what you need to know. So the combination, and we are actually the pioneer in the world who has developed a learning methodology which combines the online learning and work assets, games, and the coaching aspects. And since you have that coaching in there, you're also building in accountability. Because when a person is seen and somebody is following up what you're doing, people want to impress. They just do extraordinary things for you and in the learning journey. So we have so far got 10 international awards, and that's due to the accountability. People actually learn what they're doing, and then they get exceptional learning results. And that can be in sales, can be in customer service, can be to run their teams, or just being a leader who people want to follow. So it's not a manager in the old traditional way.
Right. Thank you for that. And one of the things that was interesting when I first learned about Chart Learning Solutions is that you have these flagship courses. So you mentioned leadership. There's a full leadership curriculum. There's customer service, and there's two forms of customer service as well as sales. So there's what you call the self-cycle management. That's how I, as a customer service, or I, as a sales professional, need to perform, competencies that I need to know, and how I operate with the clients and with the organization and delivery. But then you have another one that's very interesting. That's the cycle management. Yeah. And on the cycle management, that's something that we in High Performance Network would call the operating model. Correct. So in many ways, the cycle management training that you have developed and deliver is very much for that senior leader, department level, or even senior manager within the function. So the sales manager, the sales director, the vice president, or even the SVP of sales or customer service, it's actually their model and how they should run their function and how they should run their delivery of sales or customer service. Can you expand a little bit how you came up with that cycle management versus self-management?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. The cycle management, you can say that is the sales process. Yeah. In reality, it's everything from starting up with the prospecting. You have to know how to create and draft a value message to the customer. Then it goes through the listening, what to listen for, and you have the questions. A very well-known methodology which many people knows about is the SPIN methodology in terms of question, and in short we are using the STIR, situation, trouble, evaluation and recommendation questions, which is more or less the same as the SPIN. And then it takes you all the way through presentation techniques, and negotiation to the end, which is most important, getting the reference and getting that reference to generate new business. So it's the whole cycle, and if any sales rep and the sales team knows this, I can guarantee you're gonna outperform your competitors. And the most interesting thing is that we can do what we call scenario-based training. So even though you have a standard set of training in our work material, we can put in situations. So if you're in the technology business or you're in the healthcare business, we can put up scenarios according to that. So you actually translate the value messaging to your industry or your specific situation, which means you get a fully customized training for the price of a standard or off the shelf. So that's unique in the market.
That's great. And some of the, we in High Performance Network have launched our own High Performance Coach Group. And in that coach group, who are all certified chart coaches, can deliver the chart learning, but they can also deliver that scenario based. So I'll give you the example that the High Performance Coach Group just talked about. What we're looking at is we take a client's vision, mission, values, and strategic priorities that have been published to the organization, and we build that into the coaching. So as they've taken a course, whether it's prospecting for sales, or it's time management, or project management for leadership, or SMART goals and team alignment and the high-performing team learning, we then build in those vision, mission, values, and strategic priorities for the learner to then make themselves self-accountable to the coach and their organization with what are they going to do, what other team members are they going to get involved, what other resources are available to them, who's going to get involved, and how they're going to grow from that learning, and really build in that learning into the job. So what other, if I can go back to a comment you made, yes, Chart Learning has won quite a few awards. Can you share with the audience those awards? Or Brendan Hall Awards, as I believe, and also the EdTech Awards, and maybe some others.
Yeah, awards are won by outstanding results, and it has to be customer results. So, now you are a gold partner. You have access to case studies, outstanding case studies by customers, and so yes, there are the US Oscars, which is our Brandon Hall Awards. There is Selling Power Awards. There, EdTech due to the technology and others. So it's part of our journey to bring our message to our customers, and we do our best to make them successful. And of course, you as a partner of ours.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Peter, thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to our audience and to let me into your home and share these days with you. And I look forward to our journey together, delivering Chart Learning, and for us in High Performance Network to deliver the Learning Leadership Development Network, which includes leadership, but also customer service, also sales, and building and leading high-performing teams.
Yeah.
Peter, yours in leadership. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I just would like to say, I think you have all possibility with what you are building to make this highly successful for your customers, not only in Texas, but all over the US and other parts in the world. So look forward to working with you guys.
Likewise. Thank
Thanks.
you. Bye, everybody.